walk to my lawn and I can write a song sicker than Jeffrey Dawn.
Hey, 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 y'all. What's up? This is Nick, Raw Cannon, PSA, Glockaware Radio, every Tuesday, 5 to 6. Love, support, and grace. My brother, Rue, not here today, but that's okay because we got this. We normally start off every show. We let the guests introduce themselves. Hopefully, we have a couple more people coming in that we're expecting today. But, we normally don't introduce everybody. We let them introduce themselves. And like I said, this is, PSA, Glockaware Radio. And today, I do want to say that we had a dope show last week with our men and their experiences with incarceration. And this week, we want to share the experience from a woman's perspective, a black woman's perspective of their experience in the incarceration system. And without further ado, I want to let our guest introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Beverly Bay. I'm a 42-year-old African American female. I just got released from Muncie Prison, SEI Muncie. I did 7.5 years for a criminal attempt to murder in the first degree.
I don't. Before I interrupt, I don't want you to go any further. We got another guest on the show. I want her to come on over here and take a seat, and introduce herself, and tell everybody who she is. This is a Black Queen experience today, y'all. So we're going to get a lot of different perspectives on women's views. And without further ado, I'm gonna let our guest introduce herself.
Good afternoon, PSA community. I'm back. By popular demand. Nah, this is Benita Bird. I'm just here to support. Let's talk this woman talk.
Let's go. Bev, you told everybody that you at the time you did and everything and where you got released from, and one of the things that I was talking to you about is we hear a lot about men and their experiences with the prison system, but we don't hear. I don't hear. I don't know if it's a lot of women. I run into men on the street all the time. That's my man. He was in jail. This, that, and the third. I don't get that with black women. Right. So I feel like you have a lot to contribute to the show today because, for one, I don't get that experience. I have no idea what that's like. I don't want to try to make it seem like I do, but you have a lot of information that you can share with us today. So, I just want to start by kind of getting you to tell us what that experience was like for you as a black woman.
Wow, it was definitely life-changing. It has its pros and it has its cons. It strengthened me as a woman. I learned patience being in there. For 7.5 years, you have someone telling you when you can eat, when you can go to the bathroom, and that's something that I was not used to.
Mm. And when you say it has its pros and its cons, let's start with the cons. Like, share with us what the cons is of being a black woman in a prison system.
If you're not a strong individual, incarceration can break you. It can break you. But if you're strong, it can definitely strengthen you. And my incarceration preserved me. It preserved me a lot.
Okay.
I hear that a lot with men too. That it preserved them, like it almost saved their life.
Yeah.
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 And I appreciate that. And before we keep going, we have another guest that showed up, and I do want to give her the opportunity to introduce herself because we haven't personally had the opportunity to meet. So I want you to introduce yourself to the PSA community, tell everybody who you are, share your time that you did, where, anything you want to share about that.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Put your mic together.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Fatima Amatullah, University of Gibson, legally by birth.
Put your microphone closer.
I
Yeah,
am.
there you go. There
We
you
can
go.
hear you now.
I am the owner of Fear, which is a clothing line, which is the foundation for a nonprofit that I'm building for myself to be the way that I made my nose a yes from my incarceration. I did 7 years total federal time out of the District of Columbia for bad association and needing something that I didn't know where it was at. And ultimately, I found it in me through incarceration. So, like I said, I own a clothing line. It's called Fear, Forgive, Endure, Affirm, Reform. So,
That's wonderful.
Powerful.
That's definitely powerful. Bev here was sharing about her experience, and she basically shared that if you're not a strong person, it'll make you or break you. Being incarcerated as a black woman has its pros and its cons. Do you want to weigh in on that? What your experience was like? Do you agree that there's pros and cons, and that if you're not a strong person, it'll break you?
even if you are a strong person, incarceration will break you. Cabin fever at home during the wintertime will break you. But incarceration where you have no control as a woman, as a mother, who's the shot caller?
Right.
Who's the backbone,
Absolutely.
the mastermind of everything?
Yes.
Of course it breaks you, even when you think you're your strongest. If it's overnight, if it's 2 weeks, if it's 10 years, it'll break you. But it's up to you at that point, because you're left with just you, if you want to rebuild you, to find what's in you, what's worth it, even at your broken, even at your lowest.
And, I appreciate you sharing that, because, it has to be a difficult thing for a mother to be away from their children. Before I jump in there, did you have children before you went in?
Yes, I did.
Did you have children before you went in,
Yes.
Bev? So
How old was y'all babies? Might I ask?
Yeah.
When y'all went in.
My youngest, he was only 2.
Oh wow.
And like now, I came home. I'm a grandmother.
Oh wow.
Me
too.
I have a 23-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old,
Okay.
and they're all boys.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So not only take her from your boys.
yes.
They had a mom.
I mean, it was devastating
Yeah.
because with me being away, family was getting frustrated. DHS somehow got involved. My children were placed.
Oh.
I'm in the process of getting my children back. I have seen all 4 of my children. They're healthy and doing well. 2 of my my oldest son and my 20-year-old, my 23-year-old, my 20-year-old, they both rat now.
Okay.
My 23-year-old, he worked for municipal waste.
Okay.
He has a 4-year-old son. My 20-year-old has a 2-month-old daughter. And I mean, I'm just slowly piecing things back together. I'm piecing my life back together. Day 1 of me coming home, I see my family. Day 2, I restored my driver's license. Day 2, I had a job offer. So I mean, just don't let it discourage you in no type of way at all.
Absolutely. And I just want to, I want Bev to share, when did you come home again?
I just came home September 22nd.
She just came
Oh,
home, y'all.
wow.
So
You just
she's
come
still
home.
in the building processes of putting all her pieces back together. I appreciate you sharing that, Bev. And, it like I said, it had to be a difficult thing to be a woman taken away from a mother taken away from her children. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you touching me over there. You touching me over there.
Um, this is my oldest son. That'll be 23 on Friday.
Hey, son.
My youngest will be 17 in November.
Wow.
He was 3, approaching 4, and had no idea. I had no idea that day that I told him, I'll be back, I'll see you later, that I was going to be gone for 5 years. That the next time he was with me, he could just sit on my lap. We couldn't walk around or nothing. So it was devastating to go through that, to have to parent behind the wall with what day you get to see your child, how long you get to talk to your child on the phone, and if something went wrong at home, what could you say to them when they were living that second with that child and had to deal with whatever pain we created for whatever reason that took us away from our child. So I can identify
You standing, sister.
Yes.
with rebuilding everything that I stand for and sit. Right now, that's why I'm working hard, because 4.5 years ago, when I came home from federal prison, I got nosed. I got nosed up until 1.5 years ago. Until I fought for a yes from PHA for housing. Had to fight for trying to find an under the table job because nobody wanted to hire me because being a convicted felon and a single mother. So it was a real pain. It's a real pain to rebuild and have nobody to help or support, and have to build and find a support network for yourself and to be reunified. And that's another reentry, to reunify with your children. That's a whole nother entity for us women that we have to deal with as far as reentry. That it's a lot harder.
We already got it hard as women, period.
Yes, period.
Exactly.
All those other
So
Period.
I commend you.
I commend y'all both. I'm gonna be honest. Is y'all have so much that y'all can teach me.
Right.
As a mother, I can't imagine going through what either of you have been through. And, this is hard. This is not an easy thing to talk about. And I want to acknowledge that with y'all. And I want to try to be as empathetic as I can possibly be. And, when asking y'all things. And if y'all feel uncomfortable about anything, just let me know. And we can back all the way up. I don't have a problem with that. But I kind of wanted to touch on something that you said. Parenting behind the walls. Parenting as a mother, period, is a difficult thing to do.
As a single mother, it's almost...
As a single mother, it's extra difficult. As a single mother behind walls, I can't speak from. And I just want to get your input, and I just want you to share what your experience was like parenting behind the walls.
Parenting behind the walls was facing the hardest reality ever, that it's not about you. It's about the child. Not at the point of the relationship when the child was conceived. It's about the child. So sometimes you have to put yourself aside and think what's best for that child.
Despite what you already going through.
Despite what you already doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Despite
Exactly.
you were doing what you had to do.
Exactly.
And probably made arrangements for your kids to be okay if something like this happened.
Right.
Despite that, you have no power to say anything. But what do? You have to think about who?
Your
The
kids.
child
Your
first.
kids.
Yeah.
And to humble yourself or to be humiliated by yourself to have to swallow your own pride and say, you know what? They say put your big girl drawers on. When the state hands you your drawers, them your big girl drawers sometimes. But I did everything possible that I could to be there. I would send crossword puzzles, word finds. I would send, they did read the book, and you could send a little video. I did all of that. Just because I don't want that disconnect. And I look at it today with my youngest child. It did something. It gave him a value. It gave me a value of what's real in life and what's important.
Right.
Like I said, my situation was because of associations and the things I was doing and the people I was with. So it made me relook at me for the sake of my child. So coming back home, I chose to do things different or be around different people or where I was at, because that association can cause my child to go through situations.
Separation.
So
Yes.
I just wanted to share really quickly, because you got a 23-year-old, you have a 23-year-old, I have a 23-year-old son. So it's just really, I guess ironic isn't the word, but that's the only word that comes to my head. It's ironic that we sit here today with such different paths. You know, when y'all was having your 23-year-old, I was having my 23-year-old, I was on the flip side. I was working in the prisons. Was just finishing college. I had just had my son. I was just finishing college, and I was working in the prison systems. I was doing clinical evaluations through the FIR unit downtown. You heard of it before? The FIR unit. And what I did was I went out to the prisons, and I would interview males and females and do substance abuse assessments and get them out of prison early, you know, in the different programs, either outpatient, intensive outpatient, residential. But that was my job. But what I wanted to share was how hard it was for me as a woman just to go in the prisons each day. Even though I knew I was coming out, it still was like really, really hard for me to go in the prisons each day. And when I used to go see the women, I was more touched. Like, I remember a time where I sat down with a lady. At the time, she was just a lady. And she started sharing with me. And as she started sharing with me and she started saying where she lived and, you know, her situation and her life, I'm like, I know this life. I know this story. Like, this is not new. You know, I know this story. And I said, what's your name? And she said her name. Then she gave me her nickname. And I'm not going to share that, but she gave me a nickname. And I said, do you got a sister named so-and-so? And she said, yeah, I got a sister named so-and-so. Her sister so-and-so was my sister-in-law. But she had been out there in the streets. So face recognition, we didn't, you know, we didn't know each other by face, you know, but I knew her story. And when I told her who I was, she was like, oh my God, your son is my son. And I just share that to say, she's doing so great right now. Like, she is doing so great, came home. She's doing so great. But I say this to share, I share this to say, the hardest part for me was actually going in the prisons and coming out. And my name Benita, Nita, nickname. So I would be in the prisons and I would hear people say, Nita, Nita. And if I heard Nita, not Bonita, I knew they knew me from the block. You know what I mean? And it was just really hard for me. And I just couldn't fathom, you know what I mean, being on that flip side. I just couldn't fathom it. But it also taught me the importance of it actually switched my career, my career track, going in and seeing adults. I said to myself, you know, I want to work to where I could probably help before they get to this point. You know what I mean? So I quit my job, couldn't quit my job because I was kind of good at my job. And the director at the time, she redirected me with adolescent kids. And that's why I started working at. Right now, I'm working with teen girls who are, teens, 15 to 24 who are have a history of sex trafficking.
That transitional age youth.
Yeah, and it's very astounding to see these young girls being so resilient. Besides everything that they face with, I always tell everybody, my kids. When I say my kids, I mean my kids I was working with, my natural kids too. That in life you don't have nothing but choices. And when I used to have these young kids come into my program, you know, I worked at a adjudicated delinquent. It was a at-risk program. It was more so if you come to this program and do what you're supposed to do, then you won't get locked up. So I used to always, every time my kids sat down in my interviews, I would always start with, you got choices right now. At the end of the day, all you got is the consequences of your choices. You might not have a mom, a dad. You might not have no money. You might not have nothing. You know what I mean? But you got of sound mind and you got your choices. Right now is the time where you have to lock in and not get your choices taken away from you. So when you said that, it just made me think, like, you know, the association is like really big. Like, I could think of a time that I won't share everything, but I was associated and I could have been y'all.
Yes.
No,
And
really, like,
no.
you
For
know,
real.
like really.
No,
And
for real.
I just think, I thank God that, you know, it wasn't that wasn't my story. But you know, you never know who's to,
You never know.
you never know what's to say. So I just want y'all ladies to know that, you know, especially you. I work in DHS, so if anything you need, I will always be a resource. You know, once we finish this podcast, I'll give you my information. If it's anything that you need, I can definitely advocate for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's with, you know, Benita working on the flip side of being a person that's coming into the prisons and working with people who are already incarcerated. You know, it kind of gives both aspects of it, but we haven't really touched on y'all experiences while incarcerated. But I do want to give Bev the opportunity to share what it was for her parenting behind the walls. What was it like for you?
It was very difficult. Parenting behind the walls, it's always was the mommy. When are you coming home? When are you coming home? When are you coming home? And all I can say was soon. And every day I get off that 15-minute phone call, go back in that cell and try to keep it together and not break. It got to a point where I had to withdraw myself and not call home for a while because I wanted them to focus on school and, you know, get through school without, you know, me calling and then me hanging up and then I'm crying. And, you know, so I withdrew myself for a while. And I explained to, you know, my sisters, listen, I can't call home for a while. I'm not going to call for a while. I need for them to be focused. I really needed for them to be focused. But it's very difficult because you go through the mental gymnastics of what's going on outside. Does the streets have a hold of my son? He's at that age. What is he doing? Is he okay? We don't see, you know, Philadelphia news. And I know what it's like growing up in Philadelphia, and especially as a young black male. And once my children reached that teenage stage, all I can think about was, are they okay? Are they going to school? Are they going to finish school? You know, are they into the streets? Like, what's going on? And my mind is just constantly rotating. And
Along with dealing with the everyday life of you being in there.
Yeah.
I can't say I can imagine.
I always thought about what do my children think about me? Do they feel disappointed? You know, do they feel like, you know, I've abandoned them? You know, I just went through, just like I said, mental gymnastics all day, every day. And the parenting thing from home, I mean, it went good because they do listen. They still respectful. When I call home, it was always, yes, Mom. They remember, all of them remember who I was. It was mind-boggling, wondering, my son was only 2. Will he remember who I am when I come home?
Excuse me, can I ask one question real quick? Was any of the fathers in their lives?
Yes.
I was actually getting ready to get into that and kind of ask about your support systems and, like who was there while you guys were away. Did they have their fathers? What kind of supports? Did you have your mother's support, your familial support, friends? What was it like for the people did you have supports from the people on the outside there with your children?
The support I had was my mom and my dad when I first went in, and a female friend of mine. That was it. Was it healthy? No. But did it prevent certain things? Yeah. 6 months before coming home, my dad passed away. So that went part of my support system. My mom wasn't the strongest for me before. She was there for my son no matter what, but I had nobody. All I could do was thank God that I didn't have to fight DHS while incarcerated, because I have had to fight a DHS on the street prior to having a criminal record. So to have a DHS fight and the criminal system, I was just grateful that I didn't have that extra stressor, because it's extra. But no fathers were involved. None of it.
Bev, did you have any familial support, friends?
Yes,
fathers?
I had tons of support from family, friends, my children's father. Like, they were just taken away by everything that happened. They looked at it like, how could she go from, being a mom, being a sister, and just, why did this happen? Like, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
They were wondering, like, well, why did you get so much time? You had your license to carry. They giving you this much time. I don't understand. You had $1 million bail. What's going on? They just had no answers to anything, and the only thing I can do was tell them to just stay strong.
I mean, this is hard,
it's hard for me too.
As women, one of the things that we need to do more of is stick together as Black women. And we already have the system stacked against us. And, y'all have, you have the familial support and whatever support you did have, and to, especially for your children on the street. And on the flip side of that, like actually being in prison, having to deal with that day-to-day life, what was that like for you?
It was pretty much like being on the streets. Not in a good sense, but you were watching your back. You didn't know who was who. You can't talk. On the streets, you might be able to meet a friend if you out doing something similar. Say you at Career Links or something. You might get somebody you cool with on the same path. Not in jail. You got somebody that could be trying to turn themselves lighter and find out, where you at your most vulnerable, you have your predators in there to take advantage. It's dehumanizing to be on that side of the wall, to be told when to do, what to do, how to do. Stripped down. You have an hour with your children and your family for peace, and you enjoy for a second. Now you gotta get naked to go back to the cell. How we had to eat on the inside. Like, we mothers, we come from whatever we were doing on the street cooking.
Yeah.
Right.
To having to use hot water or a microwave to cook.
To using a stinger.
Using an iron to toast bagels. Like, the survival skills you. But it was real. So all I could say about the other side was it was real. It was humbling. Will I go back? Only the creator know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because
I can't say yes and I can't say no.
You can't
Me
because
too.
we all know it don't take much.
It don't.
They already don't value the black women lives out here.
At all.
So you could be doing everything right, and this in the moment of time you in the wrong place at the wrong time, and
Like you said,
your life can be
associations.
changed forever. You know what I mean? Even with or without association. You know what I mean? But Beverly, did you kind of have that same experience on the inside?
Like, it was just the being told, what to do, when to do it, being disrespected by some of the officers there, them talking to you like you're nothing.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Just your dignity. Mentally, you really have to be strong to endure the indoors of prison.
I want to say this again, and I want to keep reiterating this, that I appreciate y'all being here and how difficult this can be for you. And, y'all sharing y'all experiences. And for someone who, like me, who has no idea, I'm ignorant to it. The closest I've ever gotten to this experience is being that person on the outside, or just getting arrested, and I ain't never did no time, never spent a day in jail. I done got arrested before, but I ain't never spent a day in
Exactly.
jail. So, I just want to, let y'all know that, is while I can never truly understand where you are coming from, I know what is needed.
Right.
And the most important thing for me is to let other black women know that you do have black women supporting you here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You do have a voice. And PSA 5 to 6 Glockaware Radio every Tuesday, y'all. This is an avenue for our black women to share their experiences, no matter what their experiences are. And, for us to start this with women in incarceration is, it kind of is mind-boggling for me. It's emotionally moving. And, I just want y'all to share again who y'all are, just for anybody who may have tuned in a little late. Share who y'all are. If you want to share your time, if you got anything else going on out here, I want you to, this is your platform to share. You want to start, Beth?
She can start.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is.
You're
listen,
just coming home, and it's.
We need to support this young lady
Yes.
right here.
I may be able to be a support
yes,
and
and I was
resource
getting ready to
Definitely.
ask
for
that.
you
Yes,
because of my challenges and my no's.
absolutely.
I'm well aware that I'm possibly able to help you through my pain and the walls that I done ran into. I want you to go because I want to. That's what I want to do, is be able to help you. People like you, people like myself, work with the youth of the age bracket that you work with,
Right.
to try to talk to those that are going through the same things that I was going through inside that nobody knew,
Right.
that they resisted too. I ain't on it. Everything else is what it is. But it's what our youth need right now. People like you and I that don't value the fact that your mom cared to either call the police or have you locked up.
Right.
So, or little girls that are hurt so bad inside that are running to a lifestyle or for attention to prevent them from being where we're sat at.
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
I got a question for y'all. I did 22 and I had to get out and adjust and all that stuff. But being that y'all are mothers, was it difficult, or can you explain to me how y'all went from being locked up in there, looking out for yourself? Because like you say, prison is a hard place and it has harsh realities. So when you get out now, you got kids and you got to switch over from looking out for yourself to them looking to you for guidance, looking to you for support, looking to you to help better them.
Well, coming home, I jumped right back into motherhood. I couldn't wait for it.
Yeah.
I stayed in contact with them while I was in there, and when I came home, first thing was first, listen, how did this change you guys' life? I want to know, how did this impact you guys? It's not about me. It's about y'all. Vent to me. If there's anything y'all want to tell me, say to me, just let me know. Tell me. But motherhood, my mother instincts kick right back in.
Right back in.
Right back in.
Yeah, I can say it's like they say when you throw a cat out the window, they're gonna land on their feet.
Right.
You threw me out the gate. I jumped right back in. Not with just the one that I was taken from right away, but from the ones that weren't there prior to. Like I said, in fighting the DHS case on the regular side, I was fighting for reunification and opening doors to keep a door open for children that I hadn't had, that I had lost because of the system of mistakes that didn't end up me in jail. So I was fighting the reentry on a couple levels, so I opened doors. But now I look at it, my son came back in January, and we can talk. I'd rather we talk about it and tell me how you feel, because I only know how I feel.
Exactly.
As the mother.
Right.
I don't know how the child feel. I don't know what being taken from me before I went to prison did to you. I don't know how it made your younger brother feel, him having me and me parenting from behind the wall. All I asked of both of them, or all of my children, all 5 of them, was, can we be honest and enjoy the moment that we have each other, to be able to try it, to see it, to learn it. Because I came home and lost my dad. He could have been looking for me, and I didn't come home. There are people that we know that go behind the wall that don't come home because they can't take what's behind that wall.
Right.
So,
Listen, I couldn't take going behind that wall and coming back out every day. Like it really was life changing for me. Like I mean, I can't explain it, but even though I knew soon as I finished my interviews, I was coming out just being confined. You know what I mean? Just for that little bit of time, and just knowing that I'm more so not their first, but their only hope. You know what I mean? So I fought harder, like especially for the women. Like I fought hard. I still fight for my young girls now. Like I work in rap court. That's a specialty court, juvenile justice center. And we work with, like I said, girls who are either adjudicated delinquent or well, it's actually deferred adjudication. It's all if you come and you do this and you get these services. When you get locked up, instead of you getting placed on probation or getting sent away, if you do this and do that, we will more so expunge your record, clear your record. So, day to day, I work hard with girls who have been, like, used. You know what I mean? Like I said, I work with girls who sex traffic. You know what I mean? But I have some, just to kind of like piggy bank off of what you were saying about motherhood, I want to just talk about this one 16-year-old little girl that I have, because it kind of like all comes together. She's actually, I can't say too much, but just she actually on a run from DHS now.
Wow.
And she just had her baby this October. She just had her baby the end of August. So I'm fighting with DHS and advocating for her because DHS is looking for her. And I'm saying, well, y'all looking, this girl been at her doctor's appointment. She been at her baby doctor's appointment. She done signed herself back up in school. This is like the most resilient little girl that I have ever met in my life. Like, ever met in my life. So when you say DHS, you said you was fighting your case, like, it's so sad that a system that's
It's
set up
that's
to
a whole
a system. Yeah.
That's
It's-
a whole nother show, and I'm sure
yeah.
we all can share some experiences related to that. In that entity within itself. I mean, the systems period
Yeah.
that's designed and supposed to take care of our children
The first ones to fail them.
is the first ones to fail.
First ones to fail them.
They are not, in my personal opinion, designed one to keep families together. They're not. And I'ma just say this: a lot of the times, is a bunch of white people who don't share the same values and ethics as black people that don't understand what it is that they're doing. It's just another system that's in place that's destroying the black family.
And a lot of bougie black people.
Get
Like a lot of bougie black people. I found like the reason that I decided to work with the people that I work with is because I wanted these little girls to know that, I've been out on the streets. Like,
yeah.
thank God they ain't had cameras back in my day.
You
know
can
what I mean?
relate.
I would have went viral about 1,000,000 times.
Yes.
She
I
would have
mean,
went viral with me too.
Listen, I mean, we might even be viral,
Right.
but yeah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. But I just, that these systems, which kind of brings me back to the next question that I have for y'all. Looking back, right? We are all a certain kind of person before something life-changing happens to us, right? And then we're this new person. So what was yourself like prior to going in
That's a good question.
as opposed to what you are like today?
Prior to my incarceration, I was chill. I was laid back, went to work every day, took care of my children. And I pretty much stayed the same. But my incarceration humbled me even more. Like, I'm more humble. I have a lot more patience because in prison you have to wait on everything. You have to wait for everything, your meals, everything. So I'm pretty much the same as I was, but it has enhanced more.
And what about your ideas of views or the systems that you had to go through during that time? Like, do you still, what is, prior to going in, these systems that are designed and put in place to support us and make things the best that they could possibly be for us, do you feel like that's what you got? Or do you feel like these systems failed you?
In a way, I do feel like I was failed, but I'm pushing it. I'm not depending on anyone for anything. I'm stopping at zero, at nothing.
And I wanna ask you the same thing. I mean,
Who I was before prison, I wasn't nice. But to me, I thought I was nice. I thought I was loving, caring, but I wasn't. I knew I was numb. Who I am now is a human that has a heart, that cares, that sees the value in speaking to your neighbor, making sure an older person, male or female, gets across the street.
absolutely.
And getting frustrated with the youth that don't get up on the bus for older women or women, period. So prison broke me in totality, having to swallow my pride, having to take my own medicine, to sit down and have no control where I was the control freak. It was humbling. Now, I'm proud of it. I don't wear it as a badge of honor. it's one of the stones in my crown.
That's right.
Because if it wasn't for prison, I wouldn't be alive. I can't lie to nobody. Because I ain't going to lie to myself about it. If it wasn't for prison, I would not be alive. Am I thankful for it? Yeah. Am I happy about having that? No. Did it feel good? But before I went to prison, I know that I wouldn't have reunified with my older children. No matter what. And I wouldn't have had the value of the system that failed. Because I didn't know the system for it to fail me. Coming home, the systems that have failed me, as hurtful as it is to say thank you, thank you for failing me. Because you made me stand on the 2 feet that I was birthed with. And the 2 hands to play with. Because I was sitting on the ground when I was born or laying on the bed. How I have to move that, and I had to do it when as a baby to move myself. As an adult, coming home from prison, I realized I had to use those same movements to move, to get up, to make the moves that I needed to get done.
I have one question, and I hope I get it out right. My question is, you touched on it. You said all you have to do is wait. All you doing is waiting on time. Now that you home, I know you appreciate time more? Like, and I guess that's kind of like a dumb question,
No, it's
but
not. I get
like
it.
you appreciate time more. It's like you appreciate time more. That's my question.
I'm going to show you the appreciation of time more. When I came in, I had some people that have become my support system in the last year or so take the time to be up here, to be with me, to support me. That's something that they can't get back. So the value of time that I have for me, that I put into other people, to see them put it back, none of us can get that minute back.
Right.
Where they at?
Outside.
Tell them to come in.
They was there.
No, tell them to come in.
'Cause
no,
they took the
tell
time.
them to come
Yes.
in.
Because they know.
That's what this is about.
So
tell them to
my
come
support
in. They are
system-
welcome.
Time to me is everything.
Yes, bring your support system in.
to
Let's
know
go. I want all the support systems
That
that's
they
out
took
there.
the time to be here.
Anybody else support system out there?
Oh, and there's
Anybody
black
else
men
out
coming
there?
through.
Come
Young
on, let's
black
go.
men.
I want everybody.
B&B.
I want to bring them all in. Come on, come around. Get on the camera too.
Oh,
come on.
God, bless you.
Yes,
Time
come
mean
on.
things to
Come
me.
on. Look at this.
It means
Yes.
it means everything.
Do you see this? These is black
Come around,
men standing behind you,
Here to
sister.
support the black queen.
Here to support the black queen. We need more of this, y'all. Do y'all
Yes.
see this? This sister right here got
Yes.
black men behind her, supporting her. We need this, y'all. Our community needs this because, listen, y'all black men, y'all need y'all queen. And we need y'all too. We need y'all to support us. We need y'all to protect us because nobody is going to protect us but the black men. Nobody.
You can't be a man if
You-
you're not protecting the woman, period.
Say it again.
You can't be a man if you're not protecting the woman, period.
Say it one more
You
time.
can't be a man if you're not protecting the woman, period.
Do y'all see
That's
this?
our job as a
Do
man.
y'all see this? Yo, I got chills right now.
Yeah, I'm like almost in
man
tears.
right here.
It's a birthday.
This is birthday.
Oh,
and
this
he
is
right
birthday, and he here supporting
And he
you.
here.
Happy
And he
birthday.
here.
God bless you.
Happy birthday,
So-
my black king. Happy birthday.
If time is important to me, I put my time into people that, knowing or not knowing my story, would make a sacrifice to do this for me, because I do it for them,
That's what's
and
up.
they here.
That's what's up. I appreciate y'all. I don't know none of y'all, and I love y'all. I want to let all the black men out there know I love y'all,
We love
and
y'all.
I appreciate this right here. You know, cause
I was expecting women to come through the door. Actually.
me too.
I ain't
I'm gonna
lying.
be honest with you.
I was expecting women to come through the door, so it surprised me.
It's some out there. They right there, man.
And,
some out there.
it's not to say
Okay.
that none have supported you. I just when
didn't
you
ex-
said that your support system was out there, and these 4 black kings came walking through the door,
Right.
I was surprised, and that's a shame. No,
I
for
know.
real, that's a shame.
I know.
that I was surprised, and I want to say that it's a shame that I was surprised because we know the black woman going to stand behind the black king when he incarcerated.
Right.
You hear about it all
All
the
day
time.
long. Talk about it, because we hold them
All
down.
the time.
We fight to go see
Are
them.
they going to do the same for us? Will they do the same for
Real
us?
kings, they will.
And they did that
Amen to that.
for you. And I want you to know,
You surrounded by
girl,
love.
I value these men. I do. I appreciate
listen.
each and every one of these guys
Listen.
right here. So,
I love y'all.
ladies
I
in the
appreciate
community
y'all.
know it's
Yes.
it's some kings out here that's supporting and protecting us. It's some kings out here that still open car doors.
What?
All that.
I listen.
They out
I say
here.
it all the time.
They out here.
Chivalry. I want the
It ain't
chivalry.
dead.
And the chivalry. And what is it? Chivalry. I
Just
want it
left
all.
The room.
Yes, I want it. Open the door for me. That's right. You know, I appreciate that. Like, you know, today's show was kind of just like the beginning of me as a black woman is trying to do here. Like, we normally do a say her name segment of the show, and we talk about black women that are dying at the hands of the police. I don't even want to do that right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to just keep this positivity going. I want to, you know, share with the black women that's out there. You can have love and support from your sisters.
Yes.
We out here. It need to be more black female support groups. Did y'all have any kind of black female support groups when y'all came home or anything like that?
No.
It sounds like it's a need out here, black women.
Yes.
It's a need out here.
For us amongst us.
Yes, we need to get together and we need to create these things, because we have black women, they sitting right here, who going to jail and need support coming home. They need to get connected to the right resources. They need somebody to advocate for them in these systems that are failing us and our children. Like, this is one of the reasons why I got into social work, and I feel like it's not enough black people in positions to make change in the field of social work. And I'm not taking away from the other races or anything, but no matter how many courses, classes, training you can take, you can never fully be diverse enough to be able to understand if you ain't come from it.
Exactly.
And we need people out here that came from it. We all got a different story, but we came from it. We was birthed from it. Our ancestors are slaves, and ain't no one black person out here that ain't have an ancestor that was a slave. So we come from the same. We have the trauma in our history, in our blood, and we need more support groups for our black women out here. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is do that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do something that focuses on our black women and their mental health. And, you know, we all have mental health, right? But it's not the same unless it's that black women unity, that connection you feel with a black woman. You know how the guys have you know that bruh, you know, the things they do, you know, our black sisters, the things we do. It's nothing like a sister congregating with a sister, communicating, interacting, connecting with a sister that can relate on some level, maybe not all, but on some level, that we can share our story and comfort and safety, because this is not a hard thing that y'all up here talking about. And I want y'all to understand that I want this to be a place of safety. Safety is an issue in the black women, y'all. With black women, safety is an issue for us.
Big one.
I didn't talk about a lot of the, you know, dying. our social media coordinator, me and her, we gonna get together and we gonna put some things together because black women are dying, and not just at the hands of police. We're dying, and we need to be protected,
Uplifted,
uplifted, loved, supported, appreciated. I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Ain't never met y'all before a day in my life, but I appreciate y'all for coming on here. And y'all will always have a space here on PSA.
I appreciate you opening it up for us to be transparent, to help not just others, but help ourselves through
Exactly.
our pain.
Exactly.
I'm quite sure you can relate every day. It's a different pain trying to get back in it. So for them to open it up, for me, I'm quite sure for you, it's to know that it's not just about the men coming home.
right?
It's about the women
It's
too.
about the women also.
Because we going away too.
Yeah, we are.
I ain't never spent a day in prison, but I'm because I'm a black woman. Okay? We are coming home, and we need the support of other black queens, and we need the support of our black kings, because we gotta preserve the black family, y'all. And this is just another system, another way that they tearing us apart. I truly, 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 truly appreciate y'all. If y'all can share your names again, if y'all on any social media, if y'all doing anything, share your clothing line information one more time. I wanna and share that acronym one more time. I wanna hear that again.
It's FEAR, FEAR, forgive, endure, affirm, reform. You can find me on Instagram, F.E.A.R.
Hold it up in
with
front
the
of the
3
camera right here.
underscores. My logo is the Phoenix. Hold it up so you can see it in the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
The logo is the Phoenix. That is the representation of me, my situation, the woman, the black woman. We still rise. We keep getting up.
Yes, we do.
We keep getting up. It don't matter what flower pot and dirt fall on us.
Amen.
We still gonna grow.
In the words of the great Maya Angelou,
Still I rise.
and still I rise.
So,
Yes. Do you have any? Did you share where they can get the?
You can hit me on my Instagram.
Okay.
Wait, you got the banner?
You have a banner? Come on,
Yep.
hold it. Hold the banner up.
It's fear.
Forgive,
Endure,
endure,
affirm,
reform.
reform. My 16-year-old son who is autistic, I told him a year ago I wanted to create a clothing line. And he said, well, what you thinking about? I said, an acronym. And he said, really? I said, yeah. He said, fear, and slammed my bedroom door and laughed at me.
Oh wow.
Said, now you figure out 4 words to fit that.
Who he thought he was playing with?
Right.
Who he thought he was playing with?
So I laughed.
He
but
ain't
I
think
sat
you
there
was
and
going
figured-
to when you did.
But I did my homework. He came back and said, you figure it out? I said, I did, but did you figure out why you picked that word? He said, what's your greatest emotion? What's your greatest emotion? What's stopping you
Wow.
from going back to jail? I said, fear losing you, fear losing what we building. He said, so why wouldn't I pick that word? Did you figure out 4 words to go with it? I said, yeah, forgive, endure, affirm, reform. He said, I guess it fit perfectly, didn't it?
Yes.
And a
sir
year
do.
later, we have a clothing line that's building to be bigger.
Let's go.
Yes. I'm
Listen,
definitely
y'all.
purchasing that.
Yes. We are, y'all. PSA, Philly Service announcement. The love, support, and grace was real today. I hope y'all felt what I felt. I miss my brother Jarue here today, but like
We
I
ain't
told
need
him,
'em.
I got you. I
Who
had
run
this.
the world?
I got
Girls.
this.
Who
We
run
got it. Listen, y'all, Glockaware Radio every Tuesday, 5 to 6, PSA Philly Service announcement, Black Queen edition today, y'all.
Black Queen.
Coming. We out, y'all. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
What it's about. Okay. What you represent. I'm